Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Beyond Sports.
Beyond Sports.
We're going to BS about sports.
Where it's just the two of us bullshitting about the sports.
Yeah. Maybe this is edition number 2 of Beyond Sports Unhinged.
There's an issue. There's a.
Oh yeah.
Which is you and Sneaky.
Just me and Sneaky.
So. Totally unhinged.
Totally unhinged.
It's wild and crazy.
It's a couple wild and crazy guys.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been quite the week, man. Training camp started. Lots of weird news in the NFL going on.
Jim Irsay's back on cocaine.
Jim Irsay's back. Gotta love that though. Who doesn't
love
good
who doesn't
Jim Irsay
love
cocaine read?
Who doesn't love fucking Psycho Jim?
It's fantastic.
Oh man.
So where should we start though?
I think. That is a good question. How about we start with Motormouth in Denver?
Dude, okay.
Because that was the one that blew me away the most.
So Sean Payton saying that last year was one of the worst coaching jobs he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Man. What a way to
he name dropped him too. Like he name dropped Hackett in this. Like he didn't just talk shit and beat around a bush. He fucking just pile drive right through it, you know, like
Nathaniel Hackett sucked.
Nathaniel Hackett did a terrible fucking job. Like, holy shit, how did that guy last that many weeks?
And okay, so then Aaron Rodgers responds, right? And I thought Aaron Rodgers' response was very
first Robert Saleh responded.
Oh, did he? I didn't see Saleh's response.
Saleh came out like the same day that the article came out, and Saleh, because Sean Payton also, he was like, Denver was so caught up in winning the offseason last year, much like New York has done this, the Jets have done this season, and they're going on Hard Knocks. So Robert Saleh came out and he's like, obviously, he's like, I'm happy with what we're doing here. Nobody here is pumping up all that. It's the media doing that. He's like, but obviously, if they're talking about us and we don't play them until week 5, we're doing something right.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. I liked the context of how he rebutted. I was like, one sounded like an NFL head coach, the other one sounded like a Fox Sports analyst.
Right. And I think
and I don't think Sean Payton said anything that was untrue. I think that Sean Payton actually was probably the most honest.
It was one of the worst coaching jobs in NFL history.
I mean, and if you need any more proof, look back at week 1. Like his debut was hilariously bad.
Hilarious.
And it didn't get better. It somehow kept getting worse.
I mean,
it's hard to get worse, but you know what I mean? Like it stayed at that same dog shit level.
The year before, we did see a worse coaching job from Urban Meyer. So, yeah. Okay. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Urban was terrible.
So, yeah, it's impressive. 2 years in a row, 2 of the worst coaching jobs ever in the league. Man, it's crazy. But, yeah, no, Sean Payton, are you feeling yourself a little here? Are you he seems like he's really feeling himself since he got in Denver.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They made him king of the castle, and now he's, strutting his stuff everywhere. Wherein, I don't know, maybe when he was with the Saints, when he came in, he wasn't Mr. Big Shot, and he didn't have the expectations, and he was humbled a little when he was suspended for a year for Bountygate. So I don't know if he's coming in now, and he spent a year as an analyst with everyone telling him how awesome of a coach he was. You're such a great coach, and that one Super Bowl with Drew Brees' entire career.
Yeah, I mean,
now he's coming into Denver, and everybody's telling him how hot shit he is, and he thinks, just say whatever. They gave me keys to the castle, even though I was like their third choice.
And the
but-
one time I didn't have Drew Brees as my quarterback, I missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
I went 7-9 3 times with Drew Brees throwing for
With
close
Drew
to
Brees as my
5,000,
quarterback.
with him throwing for like 5,000 yards.
Yeah. Now,
The only
I mean-
Super Bowl I won, it was Bounty Gate.
it's bad.
You
Yeah.
know, like so many great, very good coaching performance in the Super Bowl.
I thought
That
it
was-
was, yeah,
That was
excellent.
his
One of the
his coaching performance in the Super Bowl is off the chart. I'm not taking
Well,
anything away from that.
one of the
And-
ballsiest moves we've ever seen.
Absolutely, he was brilliant, and the defense was sitting. I mean, who was it? Porter was sitting all over that route at the end.
Yes, to pick off Manning to like seal that one up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
He does have that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's kind of all he has. Like without that, like if he loses that Super Bowl, Denver's not paying. I don't even know if he's with the Saints as long as he was. You know what I mean?
No, I mean,
Like,
because I don't think you
I-
were here when we talked about it. Like, Bill Belichick's there's already talks of him being on the hot seat.
that's so weird, but
I
get
know.
because
But they were in the
Well,
they were in the playoffs not this past year, but the year before.
yeah, but how'd they do in those playoffs?
But that's just what I'm saying. Last year they lose, they lost offensive coordinator and had Matt Patricia.
Yeah, but whose decision was that?
Well, Josh McDaniels is the one who decided to take the head
Yeah,
coaching job,
okay.
and then Bill Belichick
Who-
just didn't hire
Who made
anybody.
Matt Patricia the offensive coordinator? Who made a defensive coordinator an offensive coordinator? That was Bill Belichick.
I know, only an idiot would do something like that, right?
Well, I mean, but yeah, yes.
Andy Reid did it in Philadelphia.
With that
Juan
was different.
Juan
Yeah, and how'd
Costia
that work out?
got Andy Reid fired.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it was
Okay.
offensive line coach it was terrible.
He's not an idiot, but even great head coaches can make miscues sometimes.
Yeah, he just
So-
did it reverse.
Yeah. Anyways, I think Sean Payton was really feeling himself right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
definitely.
I don't know. Great. Keep feeling yourself, buddy. We'll see how it works for you. But I thought Aaron Rodgers' comments
Oh yeah, sorry.
were Aaron Rodgers, right? Of ebb and flow. But I think I very much agree with what Aaron Rodgers said about it, saying there are very surprising comments that seemed a little out of character, which is where you're like, maybe Sean Payton just again feeling himself. But he said, it was very what'd he say? Of course, out of line. To keep his coaches' names out of his mouth, right?
And Nathaniel Hackett's like his favorite coach he's ever had.
Yeah, he says Nathaniel Hackett's one of my favorite coaches ever had, just because he keeps it fun. He likes how he runs practices and his,
And listen,
he said, for somebody as accomplished in this league, to be so insecure, or to say something that makes you sound so insecure, to have to break down another man just to set yourself up in case you don't do so well. I thought that was very apt, right? Like, you're so insecure with what you have there that you're trying to go after somebody else so that when you do bad this year, it doesn't seem like it's all your fault. Like, oh, I'm having to like put back these pieces that this guy just blew apart, from this team. I mean, in some ways he kind of is, but yeah, no, it does. I think Aaron Rodgers was right on that one.
I can't argue with him.
He nailed it. Those comments made him made Sean Payton seem very insecure, and like he was like, oh man, a little not over his head, but he didn't have the team maybe he thought he had.
Yeah, I mean, what team did he think he fucking had? Like,
I know, like, what did you see them? Have you watched the Broncos in the last 7 years? Like, what do you think is going on there, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, Russell Wilson got the brunt of the blame last year, but it's not like this was a playoff team that inherited a quarterback like Russell Wilson and then suddenly wasn't a playoff team. They were a bad team that got a quarterback and expected the quarterback to change the culture and everything about the team all on its own with a rookie head coach
Right.
that
Right.
you didn't vet very well. You just hired so in hopes that you could trade for Aaron Rodgers last year.
Now, okay. It's funny because this time last year, we kind of saw Russell Wilson doing the thing that Sean Payton is now. Right. And Sean Payton seems like he has done a good job of making sure Russell Wilson isn't doing that. And I think Russell Wilson also probably wants to not be in the spotlight right
You
now.
would
Like,
hope.
you would hope. But remember last year, this is about the time where we're getting like the Danger Witch and
Let's
him
ride.
him
Broncos
showing up
country.
to
Let's ride.
yeah, Broncos country, let's ride. Him showing up to training camp in his own jersey, right?
Yep. That was
Like
so
this
cringy.
is when he started coming out and
You
you
could have
know,
just found an Elway jersey, dog. Like, come
hey,
on. What
your
the
own
fuck?
jersey, your own fucking. Okay, so it's funny because yeah, you see like Sean Payton is um taming down Russell Wilson, maybe, not letting him have his own office, and his
Yeah,
whole
well, because
team in the building.
what he
Do
had
it.
said was that he's like having an office for the quarterback to go in and study isn't like something that he's against. He's not against Russell having an office that he can
I mean,
use to go in and study and watch film.
there is a
But he,
quarterback room. Every
yeah,
team has position rooms. There's a quarterback room where they can go and do that. And they usually do because
no, I agree.
more than one, like, you don't, quarterbacks in the NFL don't go often. I mean, they do. Okay, so when they're on site and they're in the facility and they're going to go watch film, often the backup quarterback or the third string or one of the other quarterbacks is there as well watching the film with them, and they're having a dialogue and they're kind of helping each other break down the film and talk
No,
about
I'm
that.
aware. Yeah.
So to have your own office where you like watch it by yourself and you don't,
I'm
it's
just
not
saying what
like,
Sean Payton said. He's like, it's not that
okay,
uncommon.
yeah, I guess
Because
it's not so bad.
what he's saying is he's like the quarterback. He's like your starting quarterback spends more time at the facility than anybody else.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like a place for them to go that they can watch that. And I think he said when he first got there, it was like blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff he said right when he got to the facility was kind of like he did in this interview and just spewed shit without knowing anything. Seems to fit his MO, right?
Seems
I
to,
mean,
it seems to be something he does often.
I don't know. So I don't know if he has an office. I don't know what the fuck it is, or if he
Okay,
just has a room that they call his
I think
office.
I think what the issue from what the rumors were, from what you heard, almost everything was that not only did he have like an office, but it wasn't like it wasn't down by the lockers. It wasn't where the rest of
Yeah,
the team hung out. It was more like up where the front office people were. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and
You can't. And his teammates couldn't always get a hold of him, or they'd have to go through his agent to get a hold of him, which is not how you lead a team,
yeah.
right?
I mean, unless you want to be like Jimmy G.
But hey,
That
Jimmy G's a look. Jimmy G only does that on the off season when he's let them know, hey, I'm going on vacation or some shit, or like I'm not gonna be around. It's the off season. This is a time for me to do that. So Jimmy G does not do that during the season.
there was a lot of reports that he did it all the time. Like he was not reachable by Kittle and stuff.
I heard that was only off the field or off season.
Yeah, I'd seen
Maybe
stuff
not.
about it.
Maybe more
Like,
has come out since he left the team.
yeah. Either way, I mean,
But
I feel
that's
like
just
Pat answers when Travis calls him. Off
what?
season, I'd feel like Pat answers when Travis calls him.
Yeah,
Jalen
sure.
answers if AJ
Sure.
calls him. Joe answers if Jamar calls.
I'm sure you're right.
Josh
I'm
Allen
sure you're
doesn't give a fuck about
right.
Stephon Diggs.
But
Ryan Tannehill wishes he had a guy to call.
yeah, well, hey, he does now.
DeAndre Hopkins is there for the money, not the winning. We already found that out when he signed with the
That's
Titans.
DeAndre Hopkins like, dude, leave me alone. I'll be open. Just throw me the ball.
Yeah. Trust me, I did it when TJ Yates threw me the football. I caught it. I'll throw it when you catch it. Okay, I'm DeAndre fucking Hopkins.
Yeah, work. Okay, we've probably spent way too much time on the Sean on this.
Yeah,
Sean
yeah. I mean,
Payton,
we totally have.
Nathaniel Hackett beef. But I am here for it. I am here for the
Yeah.
Jets and Broncos beef. I hope they play
Oh,
this year. I have
they
no
do week
idea.
5. Week 5. I
It's-
can't get here soon enough. Get here immediately and go Jets. Ugh.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
and not that I'm necessarily cheering for the Jets this
Go
season.
tie. Go tie.
Go
That'd be such a funny way to fucking end.
It would. It'd be great. It just blow this whole thing up, man.
Oh, it'd make it even
Um,
better. Then if they
Nobody
play in the
would know what to
playoffs, they
make
go to
of it.
like quadruple overtime.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Playoffs. Broncos. Come on.
I know, I know, I know.
All right. Should we can go over the injuries now with training camp has ramped up and
Ooh.
the injuries are happening left and right.
Yeah.
You're not even like a week in and it's just every
Yeah.
day there's a new injury.
I mean, started with Joe Burrow going down with what is luckily only being reported as a calf strain because it looked much worse.
Yeah. Has there been much more that's come out since the initial calf strain report? And
They talked to Zach Taylor, and I think they said it's a 4 to 6 week thing.
oh,
So
okay.
pretty much it wipes out his preseason. They asked Zach Taylor about that. He goes, he said he's not worried about that because Joe Burrow already had 2 more days of training camp practice than he has the past 2 years anyway. So, and he's been just fine.
I mean, I know. Okay, yeah. Last year
Because he came
getting
off
through
the torn
injury.
ACL in 2021, and then last year he had an appendectomy that wiped out his entire training camp. So this is Joe Burrow. Just it's too fucking hot. Joe Burrow don't want to do that, and he good enough not to. So I think he'll be fine for week 1.
Okay. Oh, the Bengals did sign a QB just to add depth in training.
Yeah, yeah. You want that extra body in camp.
Yeah.
And for the preseason games.
Hey, I mean, look, it's if your quarterback's gonna get injured for 4 to 6 weeks, it's better that it happens now.
This is the 4 to 6 weeks you want it to be.
This is yeah. You should.
No, yeah.
I'm sure he'll be back by week.
I'm glad that
Week
it's
1,
nothing worse. I'd rather see the Bengals with Joe Burrow than without.
Absolutely, beating the Bengals without Joe Burrow is
doesn't feel right, and I do think that the NFL needs it.
No, yeah. The NFL has been injected with a great young new QB roster.
Got like a top 7 of quarterbacks that are so young and it just keeps growing, and it's awesome.
I know we have not seen anything like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the last time was maybe like the early 2000s when you had the influx of Eli, Big Ben,
Philip
Rivers, and Tom and Peyton were still kind of at the earlier parts of their career-ish.
Yeah, they were younger.
They were younger.
Yeah,
Tom was still in the early part of his career.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
You know what I mean? But Michael Vick was
you had
there,
Steve Young, not Steve Young, Steve McNair.
Steve McNair. Of course they were.
Then you had Vince Young in 2006.
Yeah,
it was exciting, not great, but exciting
for like a year or so.
Yeah, if it weren't for Jeff Fisher, he would have been better. I think. Yeah, there was just too much jerking him back and forth. I think.
Yeah,
but
you're probably right. So it's just a great time right now in the league because I mean, when have we ever had this many good young ones? Maybe if we go back to the 80s-ish, right? Because there was like the Marino, Elway,
Kelly,
Montana, right? Those guys, but still, there's.
But then after that, you had your Aikman, Favre's, Youngs.
Yeah, but now, but I mean, right now you're like Holmes, Burrow, Allen, Hurts, Lamar. Yeah, there's literally, I mean, there's almost 10 of them. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like you got a top 7, and then
we didn't even get to Herbert or Trevor Lawrence.
You got the incoming class, and we don't know where they're going to land either. With Bryce Young, the C.J. Strouds, the Anthony
so many
Richardson.
Great caliber of QB. And who was it? Was it Nick Wright? I don't remember who exactly made this point, but I thought it was a good point that you're starting to. It's kind of like what happened with the running backs a little, where you started seeing so many great running backs come in that finding a decent running back is not hard anymore. Where it's going to get to the point where finding a Kirk Cousins may not be that tough. You may see quarterback salaries drop a little bit. There's a little distant. Maybe this is like 10 years from now, distant future. Not that the quarterbacks are ever going to be treated the same because you have to have one. The great ones are always going to get top dollar, but you may see it come down a little so that those mid guys, because remember when Kirk Cousins got like his fully guaranteed deal?
Yeah.
That was just like,
it
didn't make him like the highest paid, but it was like a fully guaranteed.
It was the first fully guaranteed contract in NFL history.
Right. So, and you're like, for Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. You're like, that guy?
Okay.
If you insist.
So you may see those guys come down as the position is getting so specialized and so just people are probably going to be focusing on it from a younger and younger age, right?
Yeah.
Just specializing in being a QB. And anyways, we could just see it come down.
Yeah, so, I mean, because you see a lot of people. That's the focus is being a quarterback. Yeah, all the camps and all that now.
Yeah, it's no longer nobody's trying to be a running back.
They shouldn't be.
They absolutely shouldn't be.
That is a waste of time.
Let's move to the running backs, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's this continues to be drama, and a lot of it seems to be fallout from because after we had the Zoom call with top running backs.
All the top running backs had a Zoom call to talk
Jim
about.
Irsay at that point had come out and talked about how disrespectful it was for those players to have a Zoom call, a talk about this, because they worked very hard on a collective bargaining agreement, and having a group of players think that they're above that is disrespectful to the league. And it is a privilege to play in the league, and we're not going to change that for one position group.
This coked out billionaire bumfuck.
Yeah. So then, in a very unshocking surprise,
I'm sorry, is there not an owners meeting every fucking year? Do the owners not always fucking get together?
Yeah, it's not very fair of them to change the rules when there was a collective bargaining agreement signed based on the rules that were in place.
It's not fair that they've all come together and collectively decided not to pay running backs anything.
Yeah. So obviously the running back that plays for his team that is a franchise caliber player decided, I don't want to play here anymore. And Jonathan Taylor requested a trade.
Yes. And then they immediately put him on the, was it the
pup list? He's on the pup list. They are contemplating placing him on there. They haven't officially placed him on that yet, I guess.
Okay.
But that by the time this video goes up, he will probably have been placed on there because he suffered a back injury while working out in Atlanta, which is suddenly, not in...
He makes those comments and suddenly he hurts his back.
Yeah. Are you sure that he did not hurt his... It's not a pre-existing condition from carrying your team?
Yeah, right.
Full
load on your team?
Because that's all you got.
We'll see how Anthony is.
I agree, Anthony. I like Anthony Richardson, but name 5 other players on the offense of the Colts. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Who is
1.
That
there we go. That's my
wide
point.
receiver that they
Michael
had.
Pittman Jr. and you're 4 away from the goal of 5 offensive players on the Colts.
Okay, you're good point.
So yeah, I don't see, but Irsay has come out and said we are not trading Jonathan Taylor, not in the offseason, not in October, not ever. He's going to be a member of the Colts, whether he's happy or not, because Irsay doesn't respect you, apparently.
So they're probably going to trade him tomorrow.
I think that he gets traded pretty soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there'll be an offer. I guess they are seeking a high draft pick for him.
Who's giving you a high draft pick for a running back?
You guys won't even pay these motherfuckers, and he wants one contract. That's what I don't get.
Give me a high draft pick for a running back. Like, you pay your first round picks more than your running backs. Why would they give up first round? Like, what are you talking about?
It's asinine.
Mm-hmm.
It's surprising, but it's Jim Irsay, and that's how he lives his life.
Yep.
Um,
One 8-ball at a time.
one 8-ball at a time, baby.
Yeah.
Rocking and rolling. Rocking and
Hey,
rolling.
he loves the rock and roll.
He
Okay,
does.
he's got like Prince's guitar back there that he just goes and like wails on when he's
All
coked up
yayed
at
out.
3 a.m.
Well, he doesn't need to sleep because of vitamins.
Dude, those old ass tweets. Oh
I was
yeah,
like, those are he's referring to cocaine. Every time he
it-
says vitamin, he's talking
yeah.
about cocaine.
With Red Bull and the right vitamins, you only need 3 hours of sleep. Hey guy.
All right. If you insist, you do you.
Like the vitamins.
Yeah. But yeah,
All
we
right.
can move on from him. And I mean, it's not really drama, but we have Dalvin Cook visited the Jets, and apparently it went pretty well.
That would be a
There's
good. I think that'd be a good pairing.
That'd be a good pairing. That or the Dolphins is still the one I think that I would like the best for Dalvin Cook, him and
Sure.
with the Dolphins.
Go
Uh,
enjoy your time in Miami.
yeah, it'd be a good one. Also we had Ezekiel Elliott had a meeting with the Patriots, but that one we don't know much about because it's Bill Belichick and he's stingy.
Yeah.
Uh,
But Zeke is gonna have to.
play
I
with
don't think he
Mac
has many
Jones.
suitors.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a lot of
No,
suitors out there. So
I think he could have more suitors if
Mhm.
this went on later. Like maybe he could find a home if we have like a preseason injury at that position. That's kind of
Yeah,
where I see
I
the
think
Zeke.
I think there's going to be a lot of running backs, a lot of running backs who used to be some names who will probably get jobs after we see a few injuries.
And that's what okay. So Sneaky was telling us the other day that Sony Michelle has
Retired.
retired from the NFL. And I'm like, this seems like the perfect time for you to really jumpstart your NFL career because nobody wants to pay the top end backs and you're not a top end back. It's like, I feel like you retired because you don't have an offer yet, but I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, how little is that guy going to get paid if Dalvin Cook can't get paid? What the fuck is Sony Michelle going to get paid?
Yeah, these running backs that we knew were in the league last year aren't getting paid. You're not getting paid. We didn't know you played last year.
You really had that one great year with the Patriots, right?
Yeah, he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
2-time? I thought he was only there for one of them.
Rams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't know that either until he retired from the NFL.
Didn't remember that he was on the Rams. I don't think he did a lot on that team, did he?
I think he did because
did he?
Well, in the playoffs, he did in that playoff run to it because Akers was hurt.
That's right.
So he did kind of have a little resurgence there, and it did nothing last year.
Yeah. Okay.
But congratulations on out of my head. Yeah, congratulations on a productive 5 years. I guess you made money, won rings.
Not a bad career, honestly. Yeah.
You called it quits before the NFL gave up on you, technically, because we don't know if you had any offers.
You quit on the NFL. The NFL didn't quit on you.
Yeah. But that's all the running back drama I can think of. Oh, the Seahawks running back position. Oh, the Seahawks,
both their top. Kenneth Walker I think he's day to day.
Yeah. Hopefully he comes back. He was very exciting last year.
Yeah, I don't think, but it doesn't sound like it's anything that's gonna impact his regular season.
Good.
At this point,
groins can linger is the scary thing.
Yeah, especially with the running back.
Yeah.
But right now they're calling it day to day, and then they're back up their new rookie
that they took in the second round.
Running back that they took and say is it's like a shoulder one. That again, it looks like he should be fine by the regular season. But
no,
part of those injuries that are all piling up around did we even talk about did we talk about Ramsey's injury?
We just totally went right past Jalen Ramsey's injury. We got stuck on Joe Burrows for a hot minute and we just kept on going.
Jalen Ramsey done for the year, or at least until December.
Yeah, the timetable could change on that with it being a meniscus repair.
Meniscus tear, sure.
But yeah, I mean that's not a great addition. They brought in Eli Apple to fill the void. So they went from
Ramsey.
They went from one of the most hated corners in the NFL to the most hated corner in the NFL. So at least
okay, you went from at least a guy who's maybe a hated corner, but a respected one.
Yeah.
In Jalen Ramsey.
You're not getting at this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you get Eli Apple, who is,
But I will say Eli is serviceable out
he
there.
is service.
He
He
is a
is service.
serviceable corner for all the shit he gets. Like, obviously, he's not your Jalen Ramsey that you want to have be trotting out there, but he is. You could have done much worse.
Yeah, he will be able to fill in and not tank the defense, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We
Not
haven't
be a
had a chance
sheet
to
flag.
talk about this at all. Marcus Peters signed with the
The
Raiders.
Raiders, that's right. It's very fitting.
Do you think it lasts the whole season?
Maybe. I mean, look, Marcus Peters, he always kind of felt more like a Raider, even when he was
Yeah.
on our team,
Yeah,
right?
he did.
So, yeah, go for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it works out for him, but I don't think it's going to work out for him.
Yeah, well, I think he's also kind of past his prime, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
and
he's a 30-year-old corner coming
Yeah.
off of a leg injury with a
so,
bad attitude.
right.
A reported
So-
bad attitude. I've never met the guy.
I mean, honestly, again, sounds perfect for the Raiders.
It really
It
does. It
sounds
just seems
bad.
like one of those big name moves that the Raiders do that went last 8 games and then
Yeah,
he's gone.
it's a Raiders special right there.
Yeah. I mean,
Get the aging injured corner who has an attitude problem and was last productive a few years ago.
Yeah. Congratulations. I now think you win 4 games.
Yeah.
I had you at 5. I
had
think
you at 5.
I have you as a worse team now because he's going to cause problems.
Probably, yeah.
Because him and Josh McDaniels are going to butt heads.
Almost no doubt. Almost no doubt.
You have a head coach with
problem.
a head coach with an attitude problem and a star player. Ooh.
Or at least you have a coach that seems very hey cat.
Arrogant.
It's cat attack faces.
That is the face scratching cat right there.
Face
Little
attacker.
devil cat.
There might be still some blood on these claws.
Yeah, so we talked about Marcus Peters signing with the Raiders.
So speaking of Chiefs in 2016 who had attitude problems, Travis Kelce getting into a couple of this guy, the Saint right here.
Yeah.
Saint Travis getting into a couple incidences in training camp. One was really just a shoving match. You know what? I'm not prepared here. I should have had who it was with the first one. It'll be right here.
Yeah, it was a defensive back, young guy.
With cornerback, DiCaprio Bootle? Bootle.
Boodle.
So yeah, he kind of just a shoving match. That's not like shoving match.
Our players are very quick to break these up.
Yeah.
That is something that is an emphasis, and Andy Reid says it's because it's a waste of time. These are a waste of our time.
Right. The part that was bad was a day later after that shoving match when he threw a punch at Jack Cochran.
Yeah.
A backup linebacker.
And it was not an egregious play by Cochran. That should have
not really.
It didn't warrant a punch being thrown. That was it was annoying.
Yeah,
but
and he
didn't hit Kelce, like he didn't like bang into him like something that you would expect to fight.
Yeah, he caught the pass, scored the touchdown, and the guy just tried to punch the ball out or something. It didn't look that malicious. And then Travis, I don't know if Travis was like, dude, what are you doing? This is just training.
I think that he had said that the defense that day in particular had been coming at the ball a lot and it had been started getting on his nerve, I guess. But I'm assuming that they're doing that because there was a focus put on that.
Yeah, well, I think what Spags, our defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, what he said about it was that, we teach these guys to play 100% or complete the play, right?
Yeah, as they should.
Yeah. Right. So I think, I think the guys are just trying to play hard in training camp. Young guys who are trying to prove themselves.
Absolutely. I mean,
finish the play. There you go. Finish. Like they're just trying to
finish.
Show that they have that they're going to be going 100% at it all the time. So it's weird because it does seem like Kelce.
He took accountability and says he needs to be better about it.
Yeah.
I think that this is gonna get blown out of proportion in contrast to what it was. Because I mean, across
For a
the
little
league,
bit,
across
probably.
the league, because of who it is, because of
Yeah.
who it is and who he plays for,
Right.
and what he
And
means to the team.
we see
But
fights in training camp every year.
every year, I mean, we saw it
Yeah.
in Pittsburgh the same day. I mean, we had George Pickens and Joey Porter Jr. getting into a more heated scuffle
That
than
is
this.
that is not what you want to see though.
Where
Like,
which led to George Pickens' chain getting ripped off by Porter, I believe.
mm,
And that started because Pickens blocked him to the ground on a route he was running. It was definitely offensive pass interference.
okay. I
But
mean,
yeah. Yeah, so I
you know
mean,
what?
like I
Still,
said, and I
again,
don't think that you don't take
I
much
don't.
away from those early in camp. I mean, it's
Nah, we saw it last
uh
year in the Saints with the one guy. It happens
yeah,
every year.
every year
There's
it
always
happens a lot, but because it's Travis Kelce on the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Travis Kelce, who's had quite the offseason himself
Oh, absolutely.
between SNL, his podcast, the golf tournament that him and
Yep.
Pat dominated, Steph and Clay.
Yep.
The
The
dude's just
match.
been on top of the world. And then something like this comes out, and it's you're right. We haven't seen issues like this from Travis since very early in his career.
Yeah.
And he was known for being a hothead and doing dumb stuff.
Yeah. It was one of those whenever I got told about it, I was like, are you kidding me? But then I was like, I could see this being,
And we're very lucky that a guy you put him on maybe a different team with a different coach who doesn't have the stature and prestige as Andy Reid, and maybe it's
a
something.
different issue. Yeah.
But I believe that Travis Kelce listens to everything Andy Reid says and does whatever that man will tell him to do.
Oh yeah, I don't think that this will happen again.
Right. So I think Andy and Andy Reid's camps aren't known for players getting into fights, right? So
No,
this is
no,
kind
they
of something that is a little rare just in Andy Reid's camps.
yeah, and
Not across the league.
both of these were broken up by teammates.
Right.
Teammates on the field stopped this before both of these instances before they escalated any further. Because it is instilled in them that Andy says he's like, dude, punches are the most he's like, they're the biggest waste of time because in a game, if you throw one of those, you're out.
You're getting thrown out.
Yeah,
Yes.
He's like,
or players are somebody's getting hurt.
Yep.
You're getting thrown out. Like there's no good reason to do that shit.
No.
He's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
So hopefully we see no more of this out of it.
And I don't think.
Hopefully the next news we hear about Chief Star at camp is it's one reporting to camp.
It's Chris Jones finally coming to camp. Just pay the guy, Brett Veach. Just pay the guy.
I know you don't like to pay people that aren't named Patrick Mahomes, but maybe make an exception and sign our best defensive player.
If you can keep finding money for a safety, you can but maybe how much money do we give? How much money do we give Reed last year?
But maybe what he's thinking is, okay, I could sign Jones, or I could use that money to keep Willie Gay, L'Jarius Sneed, Nick Bolton the year after that. Maybe that's what the holdup is because those are important pieces to our defense as well.
Yeah,
but I feel like
you're absolutely right. I don't know if any of them are quite. We have to keep Bolton.
Yeah, and I would love to keep. I would like those three players to stay.
Yes, I've kind of come to terms already that Sneed is not going to be on our team after next year. This
paying corners is very out of character for our organization.
It pains me because I love L'Jarius Sneed, and I think he brings an extra something, an edge to our defense.
Yeah.
And it is going to hurt to not have Sneed out there after this year. But with the young, great corners that we have, right? With the depth at corner that we have, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to pay a corner.
Yeah.
And like you said, Brett Veach does not pay corners. Why would I pay a corner who's already like 26, 7
Yeah.
when I could just go get a 22-year-old for, a fraction of the price?
No.
So,
But yeah, I mean, hopefully, if he's not going to keep Chris Jones or LeJarius Sneed, that means we're keeping our linebacking unit intact.
dude, you cannot let Nick Bolton go.
I
Like,
know
you
him.
found a quarterback for your defense, basically.
Yeah, I think you have two
And his
guys
second,
at
like,
linebacker that.
Nick Bolton in his second year last year was already running our defense.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the leader out there calling out the plays, getting everybody set. You cannot not pay that guy and
yeah.
keep him around.
I want him and Gay to
But
stay because I want
yeah,
to.
I
I
don't
like
know
that
if it.
duo.
I don't know if we can, especially if we pay Chris, which we do need to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. If you pay Chris, I think that you lose one of them. But if not, that's why I'm like, you better be planning to keep them both
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
because you're gonna have a opening of about 30 million.
So plenty to go around, my guy.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah. All
anyway,
right.
we promised we weren't going to talk about Chris Jones, and we broke that promise.
Right. Come on.
I know. It's us. Uh a weird situation. Well, a strange day up in Minnesota where
Vikings.
the Vikings were like, you know what? We are willing to trade and accept trade calls for Danielle Hunter. And they were fielding calls apparently, and then they said, you know what? If we're getting this many calls, we want to keep him.
We should probably pay.
So they paid it. They gave him 17 million with a potential for 20 million
Were
on
they
a
just
1 year deal.
were they just like taking calls and they're like, if we did trade him to you, what kind of extension might you give him? And maybe they were just fielding that and they're
Yeah,
playing the field and seeing like, okay, it seems like he's worth this much.
that might be that was the average, but also yeah, the sheer velocity of the calls they received maybe was like, holy shit, we might have something here. Is he better than we think he is?
They only signed him to a 1-year extension, right?
Yeah, which is, I mean, you
But
gave
it
him
is like
money,
a 17-20 million dollar extension, something like that?
17 up to 20.
Up to
So
20. Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Not
that's a
bad.
great day to be Hunter.
No kidding, man.
Doesn't seem like he had to do much at all.
No.
He
He's like,
sat
I'm gonna
there and
get
then got $17 million.
good for you, my guy. Good for you.
Yeah, congratulations. I'm happy for you. Teach me your ways.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was some
The
MLB.
MLB, Otani having another fantastic showing in a doubleheader. The first game goes out there, throws a complete game, one hitter, shutout.
Dirty.
Complete game, one hitter, shutout. So dirty. The next game smashes 2 home runs.
Unreal.
This is the like, and the Angels doing just well enough to not trade him and try to make a playoff push, which they've been doing decent.
We've seen crazier
so
things. We've seen crazier runs to the postseason.
We sure have. And the Angels right now, let's see, I'm gonna look here. They're sitting third place in their own division, but they're, let's see, 4 games back from the Astros, who are a game back from the right. So they're 5 games back from their division lead. That's not that far. That's not undoable.
No, what are they from the wild card?
Right, and they could definitely try to hit up that wild card.
Yeah, that's probably what they're realistically shooting for.
Yes, it definitely is. But the wild card is kind of tough in the AL because of the AL East, because of the Eastern Division, where every single team in that division could be a wild card team. And the worst team in that division right now is the Yankees, who have let's see, they're a half game better than the Angels. Every team in that division is doing better than the Angels. Even if it's just slightly.
Yeah, they should have traded his ass. They ain't getting there.
I know, man. But they're doing just well enough, right? They're 4 games over 500. They're not insanely out of the wild card race. They're not out of the wild card race by any means, but there's so much competition for it right now that it's hard to think they're going to grab it. In
Yeah.
that even if they did, like, are they actually going to do anything in the playoffs? Although get Otani in the playoffs, just get him there.
That'd be fun. Yeah, it
Get
won't.
him. So
Maybe it'll be an exciting last week though.
what's that?
Maybe it'll be an exciting last week of the regular season though for them.
Maybe it will. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll
And
see.
that's I think there's some trades going on.
Yeah, we had Max Scherzer got traded to the Rangers.
Yeah. So that'll be the Rangers also just traded for Montgomery from the Cardinals.
Okay.
Jordan Montgomery. So they're acquiring some pitchers. And the Rangers are trying to make a push. When was the last time the Rangers were good? When they lost back-to-back World Series, I think.
Yeah, when Hamilton was there.
Do it.
What was it? Hamilton? Justin
Yeah.
Hamilton? Yeah.
You're trying. I mean, it's so long ago.
I know. I was just throwing out the one name I remember from their team.
Good point. Okay.
I was just trying to contribute, Sam.
You're doing better than I did with remembering Texas Rangers from like 2011. So nailed it. All right. So yeah, they're acquiring some pitchers to try to make a push at it, and that'd be whatever. Rangers. I think the Rangers may be one of those teams without a chip.
I think they are. They've been to, like you mentioned, they've been to a couple.
They went to back-to-back ones. They lost back-to-back ones.
Yeah, they came up short to the Cardinals and won, right?
That was one of them, yes.
Yeah.
Was
the Phillies the other? No.
I want to see if I'm trying to make sure that they didn't win.
I don't think they did. I think they lost to the Phillies and the Cards.
0. Yep. Their World Series wins are at, and they've been around for a long time. They've had, like Nolan Ryan there for a long, but
baseball's hard to win in. It's hard to win in baseball. There's so many fucking games. But how funny is that the Royals have more World Series
than the Rangers? It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. It's very.
That's really cool.
I mean, it's weird that the Royals have more World Series wins in the past, 20 years than like half the league that should, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird that they have the same amount of World Series wins as the Dodgers in the past like 30 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So
wild.
It's a weird sport where, yeah, you can be good, consistently good for a long time and only come away with like maybe one championship. And then you get the Royals who are good for 2 years, go to 2 World Series. We got lucky. I mean, it's like the Braves. I guess the Braves are a bad one because they just won a World Series. But in the 90s, when the Braves were like perennial playoff team every single year going to it, and they got one chip out of it, when you're like, man, dude, you were like. But then you hit a run of like the Yankees winning 3 straight. I don't know.
So it's time for the question of the week. And that question is, who is your dark horse MVP candidates?
Okay.
I'm not going to put a certain number on there, but you can put more than one person that you think could potentially be a dark horse candidate for MVP this year.
Right.
We see it every year, like Jalen Hurts last year was not a person that you would have expected to finish in the MVP category. He would have been a dark horse.
So you know what? I think I'm going to go for the next Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Sorry, the Jackson. You got my answer. Okay.
Well, you gave it to us.
Yeah. There's my answer. I'm going to go for the next Jalen Hurts and say Justin Fields. If that dude can throw even a little bit, like what we saw him do with his legs, I think he can have that Lamar Jackson MVP type season, right?
Yeah, and I think that they've brought in some intriguing weapons for him the last year and a half with Claypool and DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Along with Mooney that was already in place. Yeah.
Okay. And we're talking dark horse, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they've enforced the offensive line some. He's hitting that 3rd year.
Yeah.
You expect to see a leap. Yeah.
So that's who I'm going to have is Justin Fields, my dark horse.
Yeah.
Do I think he'll actually win? He could have a hell of a season, man.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
I mean, it's hard. It is hard because it's like, okay, who do you think of when you think of dark horse? I'd say Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
I
one.
think that we saw the strides last year. Obviously, he's got to clean up on the mistakes. He makes a lot of those. But if he can clean up those, I think that adding Calvin Ridley to a already pretty solid and surprising group of pass catchers that
You're right.
they were able to keep pretty much intact. You lost Marvin Jones, I believe.
Yeah, there's no reason that, no reason he couldn't.
Yeah.
Honestly, if he keeps improving, right? Because we saw him take a massive step last year. Now, of course, that's because his first year he had Urban Meyer. So
yeah. I mean, you were gonna take a huge step forward.
But we saw him take a step towards that guy that we thought he was going to.
Yeah, and we know that second year in a Doug Peterson system, pretty great. I mean, it had Carson Wentz in the running for MVP.
Oh, I mean,
until he got hurt, he was the front runner.
Race. Yeah.
Until, I'd say also another guy that would be, obviously huge dark horse because of the position he plays. But I would say, you could look at somebody like a Justin Jefferson. Obviously, I don't think that one happens because of the position, and that's also limits on why we both talked about quarterbacks instead of potentially talking about like a Micah Parsons.
I know, but man, a guy like him could, because you can play like every position on defense.
Yeah, he's a very talented defensive player, and he will be an Eagle at some point, so I can talk good about him. He really wants to be an Eagle, so
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he said that many times.
From the way that he's talked, I believe he wants to be.
Yeah, so of course.
So
yeah. I don't think those things. Is there any running back that you think could because wide receivers never won MVP?
Yeah, running back. I mean, Christian McCaffrey would probably be
the only one.
Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he did sign. We didn't even talk. He signed his tag.
He did sign his tag.
All that running back drama, he signed his tag.
He did.
After that running back meeting.
Yeah.
So nothing happened there. Jim Irsay, you can calm the fuck down. Nothing happened in that meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could. You have to have a guy who's, you're a bell cow type guy who's not in a running back committee, which is what most teams are doing nowadays.
Yeah.
So it could only be a Saquon, Derrick Henry-ish. Now, Christian McCaffrey is a good one because of how many he can play wide receiver half the time.
Yeah.
So
he plays this all over the field, so like him or a Debo would make sense as candidates.
I don't think Debo, but Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Well, cool. Cool, man. Are you looking up anybody else there? What do you?
No. I was just putting down who you had as your dark horse MVP.
Okay, yeah.
All right, because you had it as Justin Fields.
I did, yeah.
Which I think is a good pick.
I think he could be that guy who surprises you. He takes that leap, and with his mobility, right? Yep. The dude played like 10 games and somehow still got 1,000 yards on the ground.
Yeah, the dude was absolutely a monster, and he put up like some huge freaking rushing performances.
If he can throw a little bit, I think they got him some okay. What wide receiver did they add? DJ Moore?
They added DJ Moore, and like I said, at the deadline last year, adding Claypool, I think will benefit him more this year than it did last year.
For sure. Get an off season together.
Yeah.
And Mooney, who we mentioned.
Mooney, who was already on the core, but he's already nice. And I mean,
yeah. So I think they have a decent wide receiver core.
The unit up front got better.
Unit up front, yeah.
Well, at least they got more expensive. We don't know if it's better yet.
Right. Sure.
Sometimes they drafted somebody for us, so there's potential. Hopefully, it got better. But you know what, Sam?
We did.
I think we did it. We're
done.
Hey. As always,
been a great week. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
Thanks, man. Even though the other guys aren't here, they lost.
I know.
Power. We didn't even say it. We didn't say it.
They lost power. Like we didn't lose power. So powered
Yeah.
through for you.
There's this storm happening, and yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Here without
shitty
power.
storm. Ours flickered. As
Did
soon
it?
as dude, as soon as ours flickered, I swear to you, I was like, oh god, I hope Tim doesn't lose power. Because every time our power flickers, I feel like Tim texts like, oh, we're out of power.
We're out of
God
power now,
damn
guys.
it, dude. I'm
See,
sorry.
Like, I've seen our power go out from like a strong wind. I'm really surprised ours didn't.
Dude, I'm
So,
glad it didn't.
me too. So
So,
glad.
yeah.
Was
And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to
Like.
like, comment, subscribe,
right.
share the video.
Oh yeah, whatever.
You
Don't I got pest about evil.
Well, if you enjoy it, share it with a friend.
Or with a friend.
Yeah, like, hey,